I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table,
Fine
right?
by me.
And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not
Even
because...
in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess wasn't what happened when I was there. DEI.
I'll say it again. When people cry about racism, for poor people, it explains why they're not successful.
Yeah.
That's why they use it.
Yeah.
For people who are accomplished like this, for black people that are accomplished like this, they use this to leapfrog to the top. Because what they do is they make white people who own these companies or law firms, they guilt them into making them the head of something. And it works.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't want the grift to end. This woman, it doesn't make any sense. She's saying that she's oppressed, and then she lays out every degree that she has.
Right. My sister told me once, Kara told me a long time ago.
This hair is getting on my nerves.
When I was trying to figure out a words to a song, she said to me, "If you know the story, you know the song."
Yeah.
And it's happened because I love the song. What was that? Devil Went Down in Georgia by Charlie Daniels Band.
You listen to songs like Jerry Reed and what's his name? Waylon Jennings and Dolly Parton. They're stories. That's why I like country music, because it's just
love
stories.
country music.
And so if you know the story, you know the words.
Remember you said that?
Yeah.
You were like, if you know I said, how do you know all these words? It was such years ago, and now I know that so by heart. But she was like, "Cuz if you know the story."
Because when I listen to country music, when I put my headphones on, I close my eyes and I hear they're all great stories. So you just listen to the story and you're like. The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind. He was way behind. He was willing to make a deal.
He came because this young man saw him on a fiddle and playing it hot. And the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I bet you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. But if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold to get your soul, and I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet you're gonna regret, cause I'm the best it's ever been. Johnny, rising up your bow and play your fiddle hard, cause hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. And if you get that shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil will get your soul." I'm telling you, listen to some Waylon Jennings, some Johnny Cash, some Willie Nelson, some Hank Williams Jr., some Travis Tritt. Waylon Jennings is one of my favorites.
I like music from the late 60s and all of the 70s.
Marvin Gaye,
all
of them.
Blues. That is country, that is bluegrass, that is disco, that is everything. There's R&B, that is, I like that generation. The reason why rock music, I like that generation music because those people in that generation mostly wrote their music, composed their music, and performed their music. Right. So their music is good because they're in it.
Yes.
Now today, this music is trash because other people are writing the music and they're doing, what do you call it when you fix the voices? Auto-tune. And so I don't like music. I mean, I'm a 90s girl. I mean, I grew up, I was born in 76. And so I was an 80s kid and a 90s teenager. And I don't even like that music as much. I like 80s music, but I'm not even a fan of 90s music. So I'm like an old soul by like nature. So I like old music that came before me.
Right.
Don't you? Like
Creedence.
Creedence Clearwater. So I absolutely love music. AC/DC. Creedence Clearwater,
Led Zeppelin. I like. There's a lot of, especially the '60s time though. I love so much though because they're not only they have a story, but it's again because it was original, and now everything is kind of like sampled from them.
But even like Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder. I mean, the music was written by them, performed by them, and composed by them, and so that's why the music's so good.
Yeah,
there was no auto tunes. Bonnie Raitt just knew how to sing.
Yeah.
Linda Ronstadt just knew how to sing. I mean, Peaches and Herb knew how to sing. That's just the way that it was. Queen. Bohemian Rhapsody was written, composed, and sung by, it was written by Freddie Mercury. Written, composed, and sung by his group. Beyonce sings one song of 30 people have wrote that music. Dolly Parton. Like we were just listening to Jim Croce.
Yeah.
I love that type of music, where it's just a acoustic guitar, and you can just sit back. I love the Doobie Brothers. I like Steely Dan. I like music like that because, you know, like, again, you just sit back. That's that kind of music you just sit back and not say nothing. You don't got to dance. You don't got to do anything.
Yep.
Just relax.
Moms and Papas, Davy Jones.
Right.
And these are all good.
The Monkees, yeah.
You guys.
This is great music back then. I mean,
this is good music.
I'm just saying, I mean.
Hall & Oates.
I like Elvis.
Look, Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates, Al Green.
Oh,
Al Green, Parliament Funkadelics. I mean, this was a great generation for music. I'm telling you, that's the best music ever. There's a lot of damage though in society, but
it's a very right.
This is really a counterculture.
And
so
also, it was very experimental.
Right.
It's so a lot of stuff was very experimental. While everything was.
Woodstock, as crazy as that whole scene was, came out some great people. Crosby, Stills and Nash came out of that. Joan Baez came out of that. So. When you see it, wasn't it Joe Cocker, the one who sang the Wonder Years theme? What's his name? Jimi Hendrix. You know, so there's some good music on that stage. Right. It just was a mess going on, but you know, I like music.
Yeah. Someone sent a clip of Scott Jennings, and he's having another DEI battle with these two black women on CNN, and it's just. It's unbelievable that someone can achieve what this lady has achieved and still feel like she is scratching for get to the top.
The issue in this country right now is we live in different realities.
That's right.
I live in a reality where I know I do not have the same opportunity as you. I know I don't.
And you know
and
that
I know
too.
what, Scott?
And you know that.
Let me just tell you about me.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to answer this.
I'm not talking about how you feel. I'm talking about how I feel. Me, a black woman in this country.
But not in this city.
And I will run, and if you want
I'm a New Yorker, not in this city. You cannot say that. You can't say that in this city.
I'm not talking about New York. I'm talking about Ashley.
Let her finish.
Okay, right here. I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table, right?
Fine by me.
And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not because...
Even in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess what happened when I was there? DEI.
Scott.
So he made a good point there. He made an excellent point there. Yes, with all your education, you didn't work for a Republican.
And look what
you worked for Democrats, and they put you in your place. So don't go crying about your affirmative action law degrees or whatever it is you have. And this, again, black women. See, you know what I mean?
You see that attitude?
To me, I'm black. So?
You see that attitude? Y'all see that attitude?
But just mean. Just like the meanest women.
Angry.
All this education, and it just made her mad.
Just like
that's all it is.
Jessie Peterson, you have anger. You have anger within.
You have a spirit on you. Yeah. It's just, it's I mean, like, what are you talking about? He made this a good point. He made you work for Democrats, though. Yeah.
But isn't it interesting, though, that someone that is what we would call accomplished, right? I mean, okay, she's accomplished, is still crying about this?
It's a delusion is what it is.
Look, this problem has nothing to, this is not even her problem. And she still has a problem.
It's a delusion because I have told, and I'll say it once and I'll say it again. When people cry about racism, for poor people, it explains why they're not successful.
Yeah.
That's why they use it.
Yeah.
For people who are accomplished like this, for black people that are accomplished like this, they use this to leapfrog to the top. Because what they do is they make white people who own these companies or law firms, they guilt them into making them the head of something. And it works.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't want the grift to end. This woman, it doesn't make any sense. She's saying that she's oppressed, and then she lays out every degree that she has.
Right. Look.
I'm ahead, Scott.
Look,
you're my friend. I respect you tremendously. I think you're probably the smartest operative in the Democratic Party, and they should listen to you more. That's number one. Number two, you and I share a comparable background. We're both from the Midwest. We both come from middle-class families, lower middle-class families maybe. I actually think we share a lot of similarities in our journey. But I think you made it, and you are the most respected voice often at every room or every table you're in, not because of anything other than your talent and your work ethic. And that's all anybody ever is asking for, is for people with talent and work ethic to make it. And that's what I see in you. That's how I see you.
But let me tell you something about my story and my family's story, is that we have faced discrimination. I have faced discrimination. I just said I was the least paid person even in this moment sometimes, to my counterparts. It is just the reality of the country we live in. And I'm not saying, I do believe I'm qualified. I know I'm qualified. You won't ever tell me I'm not qualified. But the system that I live in doesn't matter about my qualifications.
I don't.
She let these people talk, and you hear what she just said? I'm sometimes the least. Sometimes. That means sometimes she gets paid more.
Yeah, so she's
cap.
Well, she's what's the word? She's gaslighting a little bit here.
Yeah. But what I will say is that sometimes she makes more, in her own words. Sometimes she makes more, sometimes she does. So what is she saying? I want to always make more.
Yeah.
I deserve to always make more. Why? Because I'm black.
What's that to do?
And that's it.
Yeah.
She doesn't ever want to not make more.
Yeah.
And this has nothing to do with this woman being qualified or not. She doesn't feel good about herself.
Right.
And so she thinks the world is going to make her feel good about herself. This is a spiritual problem, as Danielle said. And the problem is that she doesn't feel good enough about herself, even though this white man sitting right next to her, who's a Republican, is telling her that, hey, you're really good at your job, you're doing this. That's not enough. Because if the DEI goes away, well, she's afraid she's going to be measured by merit.
Yeah.
And that is what they're terrified of.
Well, the exposure,
you don't want to compete.
The exposure of that alone, they take away the DEI, then your merit will be on it will be on the platform to look at.
They're trying to get away with leapfrogging to the top off someone else's pain, off of slaves' pain. They weren't slaves. Half of them probably weren't even during Jim Crow. And they're trying to get money and position off that by making white people feel bad.
Right.
And saying white people don't have accomplishment, which they do. White people do accomplish things. And I'm sorry if you now are in this world where you have to compete not only with men, but with other white women. But you do.
Yeah. I don't even think she believes what she's saying, though. Yeah, do you ever see people, though, that don't believe what they're actually saying? They're just saying it because it's the thing to say? Like, that's what I'm getting from her. I don't even believe that she believes it.
You can look at her face. She's pursed her lips.
Yeah.
You can look at her face. She's angry because she doesn't feel good about herself, and she doesn't want to compete at all.
And this is why we keep saying it's a spiritual problem.
2025.
Oh, come
I don't think we're there in 2025.
You can't deny
That's just not true. That's just not true.
I don't know.
There's a mountain of evidence that suggests that you are wrong. Okay, let's just
Again,
take Ashley.
I'm a New Yorker, so I'm jaded. I am the Attorney General is a black woman. The mayor's a black man. The head of the Senate is a black man.
Okay, New York is a small representation.
Well, small.
Of the
New York is
United
not that
States
small.
of America.
Politics. Let me just talk. Let me talk about
every judge I
numbers.
appear before is
Because
either a woman or a person of color.
Ashley just gave an anecdote, but the numbers also show black women are one of the most educated demographics in this country and one of the least paid.
They are more educated than black men.
We have to put that into that right there, because we keep hearing this, that black women are the most educated in this country. That is false.
That's a lie.
The comparison is only to black men. Black men go to college less.
Black people are only 13% of the population. Black women are only 8%. You think that you're supposed to just be everywhere?
Right.
I mean, they're trying to corner the market in business. There are more white women in this world than there are in this country than there are black people. White people are the majority in the country.
Yeah.
So you're going to see them more. You're going to see them more on commercials. You're going to see them more on TV because they are more. If we actually divided up things correctly, then you were going to see more white people on television because you actually did 13% and the 66% of white people. If you actually did that, you're going to see more white people because there are more white people in the country. Well, however, the demographic doesn't change when you go to the NBA and there's more black men. They're revealing themselves because they got their jobs based on DEI because they were black. Right. And what they're afraid of is if that goes away, and it is because Trump is getting rid of it, they're going to have to perform like everybody else and get to the top like everyone else, and they're afraid they're not going to be able to do it. Why? Because when people put the training wheels on you for too long and then they take them off, and they've got people who've been riding the bike upright this entire time, they're going to win because they have already suffered. You haven't suffered. Your ancestors did. You did not.
Why would that make any sense?
Why would that make any sense? And don't talk to me about the judges you stand before. Talk to me about the theory.
Hold on.
Talk to me about the world in which we live in and the
let's look at
system
the
that
United
we live
States
in.
Supreme Court. How could you say we're not going to look at that from the top to the bottom? And I'm talking about the legal system.
New York is a more progressive.
And we just got a black woman.
Hold up. Let me.
We just got a black woman on the
Okay,
board.
we got a black man from the 70s.
You brought up the Supreme Court.
Or the 60s.
One. Did you know, Arthur, that there are many...
Hold on. What percentage of it does it represent the United States of America?
Why
does it matter?
Why
so we got to go by
Guys,
numbers?
one at a
No,
time.
Why is it so hard for you to acknowledge what she just said?
Why is it just one? Why is there only one Italian American?
No, but why is it so hard for you to acknowledge what she just said about black women being the most educated and the most underpaid?
I said that's not my experience.
Okay, but because you're not
more
a black woman.
No, I'm a New Yorker, and that's
New
not
York
the way
is not
it is.
representative of the rest of America.
You're correct.
That's also what
it's also the most diversity in the country.
Well, that's exactly.
Like,
so of
why
course
wouldn't
there's
it
more
be?
representation
I think it's a little more
in women.
representative.
And Scott, I think if you really see, you said something very beautiful. This is your friend. You guys share a lot of the same values. You guys think alike. You guys are literally friends off air. You text, you have good conversations. There is the yes and in that. There is something that says to me that you know what she's saying is true. You think she's smart. You know that she's smart. She's more educated than mostly everyone at this table. And so what she's saying isn't a lie. What she's saying is a real life experience. And so why is it so hard to understand why something like diversity, equity, inclusion needs to be a part of what we do in a system that never even acknowledged a group of people, never saw us as a human commodity, just literally never noticed who we were. And now here we are years later asking for some simple rights, some simple civilities. She's asking to be paid like you get paid.
Ever noticed who we were?
These women, oh God, these women annoy me so much. And the truth is that she is smart. She may not be the smartest in the room. Just because Scott said that you're smart doesn't mean that when you interview, you're the smartest.
She seems to think because she's black
that you're the smartest.
That she's the smartest black. And that as long as she's the smartest black, that means that gives her, that's the DEI part. I'm the smartest black, so I'm supposed to get so she's assumed as arrogant.
Your, your resume makes a difference. It also makes a difference if you come in and you went to community college and someone came from Harvard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what she's not doing is giving us the factors into why she's not the one making the most money.
Asking to be acknowledged like you get acknowledged. And she knows that is not the case because she is a black woman.
She had a high-ranking position in the White House of the United States of America.
Dear friend.
She is one of the most celebrated political operatives in the country.
Do you
know how hard I had to work to get that?
Do you know how hard the son of a garbage man had to work at it? So I'm just telling you.
I'm not saying that, but
talent and work ethic are everything. And that's why I think you're here.
It's not true. It's just not true. It's just not true.
The other thing is the access to opportunity is, I know you don't want to think that is true, but access to opportunity is what DEI is supposed to address. And not just when it comes to race, although race is important, but when it comes to women, when it comes to people with disabilities, when it comes to people from different socioeconomic brackets.
Do you know who's not getting access to opportunity when it comes to college? White people and Asian people. They're not given the opportunity. You know why? Because the DEI.
They're sitting on a platform with 3 black women and 3 white people. And the reason why they're so upset, you would think it's even. They're sitting here with 3 white people and there are 3 black women. And what they're saying is, I know deep down inside I don't belong here. Mm-hmm. That's why I keep doing this grift. Yeah. Because deep down inside, all 3 of these black women know they don't deserve to be on here. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that they are on here is because they wanted to make it look, CNN wanted to make it look right. Mm-hmm. And so when you feel like you deserve something, you don't sit around complaining all day. Yeah. You move on. But when you complain, you remain. Yeah. And you remain in that psychosis because you know deep down inside you don't really belong here, and they put you on here so you shut up. Mm-hmm. That's what they did. So black people would shut up. Yeah. That's why they did that. And they just keep it. What we're talking about here is black supremacy now. Mm-hmm. Right. So you don't hate white supremacy. You just want to be a part of it.
Well, and also when Scott started to make a lot of sense, the girl with I don't know her name, the woman with the long, straight hair, she interrupted him. He was talking about her accomplishments. He's like, she's got one of the highest positions in the White House. She worked in the White House at a high position. He was bringing that up because he knows her well. And right when he said that, the other woman just interrupted, wanted him to say it out loud. Yeah. She refused to have Scott's point get across, because that is saying right there that she is accomplished and there's nothing to argue about here.
And this the idea of how they're trying to make this man come to his knees. Just say that. Why can't you just say that we're oppressed? Say it. No. Say it. Like, it's just like what? No.
Then what? No.
And they're trying to bring this man to his knees to say something that's not true.
And, Scott's not going to do it.
And Scott's just not going to do it, and he shouldn't.
From rural parts of the country.
I think that's the biggest issue. There's different socioeconomic brackets
so now
more
we're
than
trying
race and gender.
Now we're trying to say that everything is equal just because I say it is, even though all the evidence.
Who said everything is equal?
Well, that's literally we're already living in a meritocratic society, is what Scott and his colleagues want to say, when that's actually factually not true.
Do you not think everything is equal?
But I think it's generally.
I don't think everything. Of
it's
course
generally
not.
true.
So actually,
But I think it'll seek its own level. I don't think the government should be telling us to seek its own level.
But you literally earlier just said
DEI is not about the government. Y'all are talking to private companies and telling them you can't
do
operate
it.
It's about both.
the way you want to operate.
But Arthur, you literally just said, I don't think it will seek itself out, because you literally just said human nature. That's how we operate.
That's right.
Sometimes, which is why the civil rights movement was so important.
I think it's more socioeconomic than it is.
This is why, like, when they talk about like canceling the Department of Education, why they talk about the federal government. The reason why the federal government was so important, particularly for Black people to seek justice in this country, is because it was the one bastion of hope that people had when states took control and they had discriminatory practice laws.
Okay, but
the
that was
Supreme
a long time
Court.
ago.
What? How long ago? Tell me how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
We gotta go. We gotta go, but it was not that long ago.
I know.
It was it was not that long ago.
Yeah,
it was in Ashley's father's lifetime. It was in my parents'
We
lifetime.
need to get rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah.
We are ranking the last.
Yeah, we're last
in the world.
Yeah,
the Department of Education is trash. Is what it is.
The fact that they're not even acknowledging that is really bizarre to me.
Trash.
These people are never going to look. It will never. They can become the president of the United States, and it will never be enough. It's never going to end.
I'm not going.
That's the goal, though, for it to not to end.
I'm not. Look. I'm telling you that these white people are right.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Just because I'm Black and you're Black does not mean that I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because this is dangerous for us to walk around here and pretend like we're not progressing and then muscling white people through our oppression we didn't go through.
Right.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
And it's boring. And I'm over it, and so are many people. This is the reason why Trump won. This is the reason why a lot more Black people voted for him this time. This is why Chicago is mad at Brandon Johnson. It's because the Democratic Party is toxic and chaotic and unfair.
I mean,
racist.
The beginning of this episode, we showed you guys the DNC chair and them trying to vote for that. And you see the clown show? You see how it never ends? You see the chaos? They couldn't even figure. They're in a position to start voting for a new chairman, and they can't even get it together then. That's chaos. And now we have this woman on here screaming that she somehow is oppressed because she's not getting paid what her colleagues are getting paid. She's under the assumption that somehow she's smarter than them. Ma'am, how do you know? You don't know. You have no idea what their background and the reason why people hire them. You're assuming that you are somehow smarter than all of them. And that's arrogant. It's a lack of character. It's a lack of character that's bringing people like this to this level. I'm talking about the LGBT community, the Black community, the feminist community, all these people, all these groups.
It's the same Marxist thing.
All of these people, all of these groups are lacking major character and accountability is what it is. And that's why they feel they can just go on these shows and just talk to, white people, really, just any way you want to dare them. And we said this before, they're daring them with their arrogance. That's what these lefties are doing. They're daring us with their arrogance.
And I'm not going to sit here and lie for you. We had somebody in our comments the other day saying something like, oh, be careful about how you represent us.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and lie before Black people. I'm not doing that because I'm Black and you're Black. What are you talking about?
Look, we're pulling the Band-Aid off here. Okay, that's what you're going to get here on this show. We're just going to pull the Band-Aid off, and it is what it is. I told someone in the comments, can't remember what his name was, it is not up to me of how someone spins it. It's not up to me how someone filters what we are saying. I don't care. Okay?
Oh.
We said what we said. And this is what it is. Okay? If your feelings are hurt over it, be hurt. This is nonsense. It's nonsense. She made no sense.
None.
She made no sense. And the saddest part about all of this is that these women are all accomplished. This is the best part and the glorious part of all this is that these women are all accomplished women. I don't care how they're accomplished.
But black women are not the most educated.
They're not.
And they need to stop saying that.
Yeah,
they are only more
true.
educated than black men.
Yeah.
But they're not the most educated woman even in this country. That is just a bold-faced lie.
Right.
That's just a lie. And I don't understand why you're complaining and you're griping when there are 3 of you sitting at that table with 3 white people evenly, when that shouldn't even be right, since the demographics in our country aren't even that.
Yeah.
The demographics in our country are 66% of white people, 13% of black people. So there should be 1 black person on that stage.
There's no Hispanic person.
No Hispanic. They don't care about Asians.
The Hispanic population has now reached 20%.
See how for black people, the people of color comment goes out the door?
But you see what happens though. Let's even talk about that Hispanic part of it and the 51% growth that they've had in this country, while we're still sitting at 13%.
When I see people talk like this to anybody, when I see these 3 black women talking to these 3 white people like this, I just think it's manipulative abuse.
Yeah, it is.
It's just an abusive tack. It's no difference than how an abusive man talks to his abused wife.
Yeah.
Makes her feel good. It's Stockholm syndrome. Make them all come down to their knee. Alyssa Fair Griffin just sitting there like a complete waste of a feminist, because that's what she thinks she is too, on the Republican side. Just letting these black women just run their mouth, and she knows, it could tell in her face, she could say that they're full of crap.
Right.
But she's too afraid of them to say anything, because she's got to go back to The View and look at Sunny Houston and Whoopi Goldberg. This is abuse. This is toxic femininity.
Yeah, if you guys want to use that term, yes, let's use it the right way.
I don't like calling it feminine, because it's not feminine at all.
No,
but if we're going to sit there and call men toxic masculine, this is toxic femininity. Women who don't shut up, women who are emotionally and mentally abusive, who can't just walk away when they've won and still have to poke the bear as much as they possibly can.
Imagine that. Look, imagine being accomplished and achieving what she has achieved in her life, and still complaining that you're oppressed is some crazy business, y'all. The grift is going to keep coming. They're never going to stop this. There's no end to this. They want this chaos. They want it to happen. But it's really up to people who have some common sense to call out this stuff and to put these people on blast, because we all know that she sounds ridiculous. It's embarrassing because she's a black woman. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
They sound like lunatics. That's what they sound like. And it's just, and this is why black women are so undesirable. So we just said this on our Jesse Lee Peterson video. This is why black women are so undesirable, because they think that they're supposed to get respect for just being black. And that is not enough. You don't get respect for just because you're a black woman. You don't get it for being a white man. You don't get it for being a Native American, a gay person. You get it because you deserve it, because you come in with some kind of character and integrity.
That's earned.
That's earned.
You don't just, it doesn't just hand it to you because your skin has melanin in it. That's not a thing.
These are delusional women.
It is so great to have Donald Trump as president. I mean,
it just is.
I just feel like the whole energy around that whole movement, the MAGA movement, has completely made the country, I feel like the backbone of the country is now stood up, and people just aren't taking it anymore.
No.
And people, it's like kids' gloves off. We're done. All right, this is insanity.
Time to take the training wheels off. What are you made of?
Right, and so I just,
you want to play with the big dogs?
This is a great game. This is a great time, you guys. I know this is craziness going on because those lefties are nuts, but I'm telling you, this is a great time in the world today. Just be happy you're witnessing what we're witnessing, because it's all good. I know it's crazy, but it's gonna get weird before it gets great again. All right, you guys, leave some comments below. Tell us what you think.